If you would please join us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've had a chance to take a look at the minutes from the last meeting. Anybody have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Yay. Who's going to do that?
Mr. Gabbard,
Yay.
Mr. Wade,
Yay.
Mr. Gittersball.
I was gonna help out, but you were just anxious, so.
Already,
That's cool.
Yay, twice.
Cool.
I'm doing the same thing.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to fiscal business, we have the fiscal officer's report. Mike will be
This is
here.
Bill today.
He was ill, so we'll move on with the current bills. We have had a chance to take a look at the current bills. Anybody have any questions about those? Anything additional that you know of?
I snuck in the property casualty in tonight's agenda, but not in the current bills.
Okay.
Can you put a request in for me? The payment detail this time was 205 pages long.
Mike mentioned that he...
Can we do a summary page? That would be fantastic.
I'm going to ask Mike to do that.
The $1.87 for something that Jeff needed isn't really pertinent to what we're supposed to be looking at, I don't think.
Sure.
Well, it is a proportion of my budget.
It was. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Gittersball.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yay.
Motion carried.
Okay, and moving on to special activities, we have a request for a motion to appoint Clearcreek Township Zoning Commission members. Jeffrey, want to talk about that?
Yes, sir. We have, Mr. Hart and Mr. Zering both have been serving on the zoning commission. They're actually going to flip at this time from an alternate to full member, and from full member to an alternate. Done this a couple of times with members who are starting to transition off the board, but still have some good time to spend with us and information. And Mr. Zering then gets the opportunity to be a full member. So with that, I do have a memo that I need a motion to appoint Mr. Zering to be Clearcreek Township Zoning Commissioner and full member, set to expire November 30th, 2023, and offer to appoint Mr. Harden as an alternate member of the Zoning Commission for November 30th, 2020.
And do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Moosersbaugh.
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Okay. Gentlemen, if you, let's start with Art, if you would come to the podium, if you would, please.
My cheat sheet.
Yeah. Raise your right hand. I, and state your name,
I, Art Harden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
I just turned that off, I apologize. Yeah.
I don't know how to make that sound.
If you can make that sound,
We
we got more.
Oh, boy, faithfully discharge the duties required as an alternate member
Required as an alternate member
of the Zoning Commission of Clearcreek Township,
of the Zoning Commission of Clearcreek Township,
Warren County, State of Ohio,
Warren County, State of Ohio,
to which office I have been appointed
to which office I have been appointed
according to law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
Art, thanks for serving.
Hands and your
Let's shake hands.
You don't have a cheat sheet, you have the...
Art, how long were you a full member?
I know at least 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 7.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, you had a residual term and the like, so.
Yeah, there were 5 or 6 years, something like that, someone stepped down, I got moved to it, and then, so.
We moved up and stepped down, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Ryan, if you would, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Ryan Zering,
do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
required as a full member
required as a full member
of the Zoning Commission of Clearcreek Township,
of the Zoning Commission of Clearcreek Township,
Warren County, State of Ohio,
Warren County, State of Ohio,
to which office I have been appointed
to which office I have been appointed
according to the law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
Ryan, thank you
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For New Mexico, Mr. Zering?
Yes.
Or no, Dominican, excuse me.
Okay. Anything else, any other special activities?
No, sir.
Okay. Public comments, do you have any public comments? Looks like that's about it. Under administration, we have a discussion to request a re-sweep potential customers for electric aggregation program.
Yeah, this is the follow-up to the email I sent to the board, prompted by Energy Alliances, to the request to do a re-sweep of customers. With us tonight is Bill Graff, the president of Energy Alliances, and he wishes to address the board's questions and concerns.
Bill, if you would come on up and restate your name for us,
Okay,
and who
thank
you
you.
represent.
Bill Graff with Energy Alliances, and we're involved in managing the electric aggregation program for the township. And I know Matt said there were possibly a couple questions that he had, and I wondered if there were any questions, just in general comments, anything that, came up, or that you've been thinking of that I could help you with, besides this, and then we can explain,
Okay.
what we're trying to do.
I personally don't have any questions, so I personally signed up and it saved me money, and I'm very happy with it.
Me as well. I'm saving about $40 a month on my bill, so.
Well, I was just, telling Matt that, first of all, your price is, .0539, a little over 5 cents per kilowatt hour. Duke is, I don't know, the price fair for, the price fair for DP&L is a little lower than Duke, a little higher than what you're paying. Duke PTC is a little over 6 cents. Not sure exactly. I think it's, DP&L is a little lower than that. But, that price is through August of 2019, and it's still very competitive amongst, we've got quite a few, we've got 23 programs. Out of those, 8 are higher than yours, 11 are very comparable, so you're saving money, bottom line. What we like to do, especially when there's a longer term, and now when we've had 3-year programs, with the price of electricity being cheaper as you go deeper, out, it's good to try to give new people a chance to enter the program. So in that term, if you do that period of an opt-out, you don't have much of an opportunity unless someone asks to get in. Of course, we can allow people to get in anytime or out, no fee. But this gets the opportunity for any new people that maybe missed the chance, moved into the area. And so a re-sweep is basically the same offer that was sent out initially.
Will you send it out like to us that already have it?
No, it will only go out to the eligible people that are not with another supplier, are not overly behind in their bills, on an assistance program from the utility. And anyone that opted out before would not get one. I think that's your desire, if they opted out. If they change their mind, they have a chance to get in on their own, calling us, basically, if you hear of someone, you can call us and we can get anybody in. We have a contact and we can get them in. But it's basically to allow the new people. And I think that's a good practice. We try to do it try to get that in before the summer when the electricity use is kind of high for most people and give them an opportunity. So now's the time to do that. And what we asked Duke for, the way we did it before, we would send the community an email that they would forward to the utility asking for the list, and then we had to sign that, send that in, and then they would forward the list on. So what we've done with Duke is a little easier way, where if you have a permission slip, basically what that form is, we can do it for you. We can request a list, get the list. You don't have to deal with it. Now, we always let you know we are doing it. This is the procedure, and then any offer, as usual, that goes to the residents, any kind of thing that goes to the residents, go to you first. We'll send it to Matt or whoever to look at, even if it's just boilerplate from something else. Just so you know, before a resident calls you, what did I just get in the mail? You already know.
How many attempts to contact people or Energy Alliance going to make in this resweep?
How many people?
How many attempts are you going to make?
One.
Just one? Okay.
One mailing. And that will have, of course, your logo on it, the supplier, the energy, so.
Sure.
That will be on there identifying it. Yeah, you don't want to send anything more out than that. Of course, that is an opt-out, just like the original one, so if you don't want to be in, you do have to act, you have to send that in and make a phone call. And again, there's no, you will get out any time, there's no fees, and I think that makes it's really a better way to do it. It's uncomplicated for you. And again, the other thing is, if you do get residents that call, please, unless it's something that you can answer really easily, forward them on to us. Any type of situation, we're happy to help and, talk to the people. So that's really, the other thing is, the PUCO requires or allows you to do an opt-out every 3 years. We think that's just not enough. You might as well give people the opportunity, keep refreshing with your people, especially when you have a good price. I think it's attractive. The other, I don't know if there's anything else
I don't think
that
so.
we can tell you. It's just a new form. We have to
I was just-
get a list and get it going. It takes a week or so.
Do we need to pass any legislation to allow him to want just a simple motion? Don't really need anything, just.
I think a simple motion is fine to authorize, because Mr. Clark has to sign off on a release.
Okay.
Just authorize him to sign off on the release,
Yeah. Okay.
if that's the board's pleasure, obviously.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
I'd like to entertain the motion to ask Matt to sign off on the Energy Alliance remarketing program.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Moverspawn?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Well, we appreciate you coming.
All right.
And it's been, like I say, it's been certainly good.
Thanks for having us.
People around here, I think, the ones who've done it.
Right. What's our percent of participation, and
Oh, yeah.
and how does that compare to other townships or entities?
I thought of that while I was sitting there. Of course, I don't have the answers right now, so I will get you.
Get that back to Matt, and then
That's a good question.
we'd kind of like to be able to,
50% have done it, or
right,
25.
I'd kind of like to know approximately how much our township saved in total because of that, just so we can say, here's what we've done.
I should have mentioned that we are working on, and we have, I believe, a final form of the savings report that we've been working on.
Good.
for some time, and we're gonna try to do it quarterly.
Okay.
We're not up to speed yet on that, but it is something that we'll have very shortly.
Very good.
Saying that we might even have it, very soon, next week or two.
Very good.
And I'll get you this.
Great. Mr. Grant, thanks for coming.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Next item on administration, we have a renewal of the PNC coverage through our O'Connor.
Yeah, I snuck one in on you here. It's the insurance renewal. I got the final numbers today from Patty something around 2 o'clock. No changes, about a 6% overall increase in coverage. We bought some new vehicles and no loss of old ones, so. Other than that, there's really no coverage changes in here.
Okay.
Any questions? I'm glad to answer them. Glad to direct you to Pat.
We'll get the invoice next time.
We've actually got the invoice here. I'll make sure it's included on the next board packet.
Anybody have any questions for Matt about the insurance package with O'Connor? Okay. Moving on to Warren County Soccer Academy's request. Matt?
So, we were approached by an outfit, the acronym WCSA, the Warren County Soccer Association, or Academy, excuse me. And they were interested in engaging the township regarding the use and the upgrade of some of our facilities. Most notably, and immediate, they were looking at the underutilized field at Hoffman Reserve, and they were also excited to hear that the township had some planning underway for Harbaugh off of Stringbar Road. So we engaged in 2 conversations particularly about using those particular facilities. And just in the last week or so, they sent me another message saying that they were able to get their hands on a practice bubble, which, if you pay attention to sports at all, particularly in, say, poor weather climates, a lot of teams have a practice bubble that I think they're coming down quickly now for UC football, but they're different sizes, different scales, that sort of thing. So they've come by this equipment, and I think they're poised to get a good deal on it, but obviously they don't have what they consider to be a suitable permanent home for it yet, because they do engage with the city of Lebanon and use the core field, 26 acres, and I think 17 fields out there, from what I understand. But they were interested in kind of dipping their toe in and taking the township's temperature on engaging in some field agreements and field upgrades, if we might be interested. So what I'm asking the board for tonight is a permission to engage in some negotiations with them, hammer out some details, see what the scope of what they truly have in mind, and bring a negotiated agreement to the board for the board to examine and possibly approve.
So they probably or I shouldn't say that. Do you expect that they might be interested in actually spending money at hardball to help put fields in, that kind of thing? Or
I
are they
expect
gonna pony up money?
They do have the capital, so they say.
Well, I'd say it's worth talking to them, if they might bring money to the table. Why not? Good talk. Good talk. And, I don't know, you mentioned underutilized, and I don't know this, part of that, Patricia Allen, do we have fields out there that aren't used?
I've got a lot of expertise in this area. I'm not sure what tightrope I can walk and what tightrope I can't, so I'm gonna talk until he says shut up. So, right now, and one of the questions I'll ask Matt, which I know he's done some research on, Northern Warren County Soccer Club still is kind of our managing group at Patricia Allen.
Okay.
I don't know that we have a written agreement with them of any kind. which is priority one in this process, because we should.
Well, let me ask you this, you probably know, they have helped take care of the field.
So the verbal agreement, and Scott can probably reach out to Tony to get a little bit more detail, if he doesn't already know. The verbal agreement is they pay to stripe the fields, they provide the goals. There's a space out there now where they store things in their own utility building that's on Chris Allen. What Warren County is interested in is Hoffman Reserve, and what we did there that has not been utilized, because at the time, there were multiple clubs. Our usage has shifted because Northern Warren County has shifted. Their soccer club has not merged, but somewhat become more involved with two clubs out of the Dayton area. Warren County Soccer Academy and Thunder United currently share the McClure Park area, which is going to be called the 11 Sports Complex, along with, say, soccer. Warren County is a large club, and they're looking for other options. They also facilitate and get compensated very well to facilitate a certain league in the state of Ohio that uses sites everywhere. But they utilize local clubs to facilitate that because they can't be in all those places, and they're paid for it. They share that revenue with the city of Lebanon.
Okay.
So that's a moving number.
Now, is that, okay, so that's something that we would address, would they be willing to share, or are they trying to get out of sharing?
No, they're not trying to get out of sharing at all. In fact, Northern Warren County's got a really good deal with us right now, because Warren County Soccer Academy and Thunder United do the exact same things with the city of Lebanon, but they also pay them. They're all non-profit, and I say that everything's a non-profit if you pay people your profit. There's no profit left. They have employees. I know that Blue Ash has done something similar because of my experience with Cincinnati United, which is a premier club in the Cincinnati area that utilizes Blue Ash's park facilities.
Right.
And I believe, I'm not speaking out of turn here, that their interest in hardball is more along the lines of they want to have a turf facility, much like Wade Field is, much like Careflight is, but really more geared towards soccer to be able to utilize in inclement weather, because the challenge, as we all know, with parks is most of them are in floodplains. Obviously, Trish Allen's not, but McClure definitely is.
Yeah. So it's hardball.
And hardball it is, but it's not the same level of floodplain that they're dealing with in the current situation they're in. So they're basically looking for flexibility. I know they've discussed things with Union Center, or with Union Village as well, with the Warren County Commissioners. The principals that Matt's dealing with are pretty active, pretty knowledgeable guys, and that's why Buckeye uses them for this area. And they make a fair amount of money. Obviously, I can't vote on it anyway, so I'll go. Both my daughters play for their club. I know what I pay them. I told my daughter she could have a new car or keep playing club soccer. So they've got money, and they're looking to spend it. And the funny thing is, it seems like what's going on is a lot of cities tend to help the rec leagues. So SCBA plays at the Parks in Springboro, say soccer, has a similar agreement with the city where they line the fields, they put up the goals, they own those, but they also pay a stipend to the city. So as we go through this process, it's probably going to be to our advantage to put something in writing with our current users. You know, at the end of the day, people are using it that don't live in the township, which it is what it is, but we need something formal, along with the liability of having their building on our property with their stuff in it. I still don't know where that, and I don't want to get him involved too much because he bogs stuff down, but But to that point, I mean, I think that's important as we move forward, because as we develop parks, or any entity develops parks, these club teams are that's the premise behind the Warren County, the Union Village concept. That's not been built for rec, that's being built for clubs that host tournaments, and I still see in our future the ability to do the same thing in this area with coordination with the city and the schools, because we've got a lot of opportunity as far as space, so.
Can you talk a minute about the paradigm shift from high school soccer to club soccer?
So, yeah, and this is something that if they ever figure out how to do it in football, will probably be the last gasp for, and Steve knows it too with wrestling. There's the club system, and you've got Janie's in the office, and one of his employees' daughters actually trained my daughter as a goalie. That shift has become, high school sports is obviously still important, but the club season is twofold, and it's easier for a coach at a college to go to what's called a college showcase, where my daughter's playing one in the middle of April in Indianapolis at that Grand Park facility. There's 250 teams coming. One coach can stand in one facility for 3 days and see all the talent he needs to see to be able to recruit. So that's what's changed about it. Through the state run last year at Springboro, I found it unbelievably fascinating that I didn't see a college coach, not at one game. The whole run. And I'm thinking, you get to this level, there's good players on the field, but it's so geared towards club teams. And basketball's going that way, softball, I know Scott's got experience with. You know, you get on the best club team, and that's your best path to a scholarship, and on it goes. So that's where Warren County, along with Cup and Northern Warren County, aligned themselves with the Dayton Galaxy, which is in kind of the same concept. So it's big business. I mean, something that we probably need to just kind of stay out in front of, as far as if we're dealing with these clubs, we have contracts in place instead of, I hate to say it, but it's the 21st century, handshake agreements aren't going to do it anymore. Not with the money that's changing hands and the eyes that are on it. So, did I step over any lines there, Mr. Pacheco? Other than giving you a beat for bogging us down?
You're just commenting on is your First Amendment right, providing additional information. I already say you're not going to vote on it.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I guess you should investigate it as much as you can and let us know what you think. You know, if it's an opportunity to develop parks using somebody else's aid and money, I think we might be remiss if we don't take advantage of that. And you know, I know Trish Allen has a club that does that, but I haven't heard anybody, I don't know if anybody's complaining. I think all of the residents that want to play soccer out there get to play, pretty much. I haven't heard a lot of complaints.
They don't come to you. It's usually the people, the circles I run in, that make comments that we let them manage the scheduling. That's been my biggest feedback.
We want to do it.
Well, and that's fine, and until you've got a club that's got all residents that are in the township, and they go out there, or in the city, and they go out there, and there's a club that, they call it Northern Warren County Soccer, and you go up and who's there, it's not necessarily all our residents, so that's where
But some of those teams
feedback
probably have Warren County residents on.
Oh, they do, absolutely.
They just have other residents also.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, it's, there hasn't, Scott, don't want to step on your toes, there hasn't been a lot of complaints, but we've dealt with some people that were concerned.
Yeah, I mean, most of the ones I've got are actually people that aren't even on the team. Just a group of random kids want to go out there and play because it's a public park, and then a team shows up for practice and kicks them off the field. That kind of thing, more than anything, is what I normally get. Hey, it's a public park, we've been there for an hour, these guys showed up and kicked us off, where does it say that we can't be here, we pay taxes too? That's the kind of thing I typically run into with it out there.
Yeah, they'll find the same problem that they go play at the school facilities.
Yeah.
The school teams come out, you're off. It's as simple as that, and the organized teams come, and if we've been allowing them to do that, you're gonna have to leave. I mean,
Well, and
reality of life.
one of the things that we can look at as we move forward with the upgraded website is the ability to have that captured. So, there's 10 fields at PAP. There's the schedule for the week. People know, you can just, you know what, if you take a look at our website, if there's open space, whatever. And that's not labor intensive. I mean, that's just data input, really, because most of them are cooperative and they, what I like about what we do at PAP that a lot of clubs and parks don't do is we rotate the fields, which is why we had to make it a moving model when we did the signs, which actually lets our ground heal a little bit better. When you go to McClure or other parks where they just keep the same fields in the same places, that's going to ultimately cost us more money and just destroy the land itself. So,
Of course, certainly if they want to come in and spend $400,000 or $500,000 on a new turf field, I'd say it's right.
there's that. I mean, and that's
Get right in.
the reality of it is they have a business plan, whether they're a nonprofit or not. They've got a business plan in place, and they're trying to grow their club. And you know, there's areas that are growing and areas that are grown. And you know, they dealt with people at Deerfield before. I mean, Brian knows with Cup that Cup's got places in about 8 different towns just because of the breadth of their program. So,
Well, Matt, Leslie,
Huge.
okay. Anything else under administration at this time?
Not this time.
And then moving on to Chairman Zoning Department, Rebel. All right, sanitary sewer.
Yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update of some conversations I've had with the commissioners and sanitation engineer. Matt and I sat in on a meeting, basically trying to get that project to move forward. We had the preliminary information, so going about 18 months ago, started working with the sanitation engineer, and they gave us the different options that came to be the options 1 through 3 in Hunter Red Lion's land use plan. And what we actually have to have in place is a planning area redesign. So that's where I was having the discussion. It evolved, and ultimately it evolved in that our numbers are good ballpark numbers, but they're not specific enough to actually draw the lines on the map and have the plan go to the next level. With that discussion, the commissioners are in support of us having sanitary sewer to the area, so they're not blocking that, but they're not helping to fund that study. And the sanitation engineer doesn't have time to do it at this point, but could focus, you know, his energies to help be an oversight individual for that. So that came more of a surprise than where I thought we were going to be based upon how things had evolved.
More than a surprise that you thought the engineer may do that work for us, or that they may help fund it?
I thought that the work that was done was enough to do the planning area. And if we then opened up the planning area, then this additional study would be a secondary activity. So the process, I apparently misunderstood where we're at in the process. So with that being said, we're looking at somewhere around the $15,000 study to then finalize the planning area. Realize that we're coming in almost April of 2018, so I'm not sure if this is something still that you want to have in 2018 as a budget item, or if we just push it to next year. But either way, it's going to take funding from the township to move that project forward, because I think they pushed it as far as they wanted to push it until we have the next step. So that's obviously in a nutshell where we're at. I can answer questions more specific if you guys have them.
Do you guys think that we want to, I mean, obviously, that study was done, and it seems like we don't want to just drop it, I don't think, after all this time. I know we didn't budget that for this year, but if we have money to do it, then we can get it out of the budget. Maybe we should do it this year, but this is already almost April, we can do it next year.
So I'm wondering if we're putting good money after bad at this point. If we don't have anybody, I mean, let's just say what this is. We don't have anybody that's going to be able to fund bringing sewer to this area. Is that correct? Is that fair at this point? I haven't talked to anybody privately. I haven't talked to any any builders or anybody that's got the money that they can invest and bring it there, that they can get back by developing that area.
Yeah, ultimately, this would evolve into an assessment, type of project, and I don't know what that final dollar will be. So, yes, accurate, we don't know, if it's good money for bad, because we don't know the final.
But if we did the study, then we should have at least numbers, days, dollars, that would allow the people out there to say, okay, I've got 15 acres here, I want to get sewered, and I'll pay my fair share.
Yeah, it would be broken up amongst the larger property owners and any individuals who want to get part of the process to be connected to the
Just like
trust.
any other sewer
Yeah,
extension project.
and then as they sell off, they would have recoupment in the back, type of thing.
To Jason's point, it'd be nice if we had somebody up there that had a couple hundred acres said, okay,
Well, when we were having the discussion, the individuals who bought the bulk of the Stolly property, major, mulch, and the different configurations of the 4 individuals, they own different sections based upon the sons, the husband, wife, and the like. They were willing to put in sanitary sewer the following business day. All we had to do was tell them it was ready to go. Type of enthusiasm. Not knowing what the capacity is, and not knowing all of the up or downstream costs that are going to be there. And that's the other elements that we have. We could go through this whole process, and Franklin Sanitary, could not have the capacity or the funding or the desire to allow us to do that final stage for sewer. So that's beyond our control, but what is within our control is this is the size, this is what a cost would be for that, and if all those other elements get worked out through negotiation and time, we can get there. But no, I don't know the dollar amount, and I don't know that they're ready to go today, but that was a discussion 6 months, a year ago, they were ready. And basically what we were waiting for was the commissioners to open up the planning area so that then this discussion could occur. Okay, now that it is a viable area which will allow sanitary sewer to exist on the map, if we want to do it, how much does it cost? So it's very convoluted, unfortunately.
And we've got the 3 studies, or the 3 options,
Mhm.
through the Hunter Red Line plan, that are ballpark figures.
Correct. And of those ballpark figures, this would be a plan that would take one of those and say, okay, fine-tune numbers would be this to get this amount of flow, this would be the dollar, this is how it would work.
And who's gonna give that direction?
Well, that would be direction that would come from the board.
Of those 3 plans?
Of those 3 plans, if you wanted to open up the entire area and take in as much as you can, be commercial and non-residential and residential, into that, the commissioners are not willing to have too much of residential. Be that what it is. So it's going to be the industrial and or mixed use and the commercial to be there. We've looked at several different options. The smallest chunk of just being basically the area of the intersection of 123 and 122, so east of 741 and the area north.
The triangle?
Yeah. Would be the smallest area that would take in with a gravity system for most of it, but there'll still be a pump station that's necessary to get those fluids. So no matter how we do it, there's still some pump station involved, unfortunately. And that becomes then the next, who's going to pay for it and how is it going to be maintained, since the commissioners don't want to have a pump station. So, yeah, there's an awful lot of ifs, and there's an awful lot of opportunity. At the end of the day, if you want to have 100 acres of that have sanitary sewer, or if you want to have 800 acres, if you want to continue on wherever that increment is, that is, it's going to have a certain cost associated with it because all of those things come together as issues.
yeah, cost for development, and major family for sure didn't buy that just to farm it. Good farmers they may be, but that's not why they did that.
Not for eternity.
So I'm sure they're expecting that they're going to pay their fair share. But, all that being said, if the commissioners are really looking for commercial and multi-use, rather than, are they going to be able to develop that whole thing out there anyway? I don't know that line's gonna be able to size it that large. We have to know that.
Yeah, and
What
there's,
what can Franklin, I mean, that paint's been enlarged a couple times since the first one in there.
all three options require an upgrade at every facility downstream, so to speak. The Dix Creek, which is the area that would be extended, they're in the process now, they mean the commissioners and sanitation engineer, of doing updates to that system. So it could accommodate additional flow for that upgrade, but there are additional upgrades that are necessary as we continue. So, I don't know which way you want to proceed, how much more information you need to make a decision. I just wanted to give you an update that this is where we stand with the issue since it's been several months since we've had some discussion.
The $15,000 study would give us the knowledge that we would need for all three, options.
Could be up to that, or we could truly narrow it down to a single option. And I think that's still some discussion. And the discussions we had with the sanitation engineer is tell us the smallest geometric shape that will do gravity. And in that, it still needed to have a pump station because there's not a single space that is 100% gravity. So, once we have that space, it just becomes how larger do you want, how many more participants do you want based upon how much gallons can we actually use as we continue to impact downflow. If that answered your question.
Well, that's a tough one.
And we're not throwing a hard number out there tonight, we're just bringing it up for the board's
Yeah.
knowledge. And we can, if the board so desires, we can move forward and engage with the sanitary engineer and get the numbers for you.
So, and maybe I'm irritated tonight, I'm not totally sure, but, and this isn't directed at you guys at all. We've got a board of commissioners, county commissioners that don't want to pay for any of it. Is that fair?
That's
what you left there with.
That was the take I had on that discussion.
That's their job, is to manage that particular line of business, if you will. They don't want to do a pump station, even if we come back with a study that says there's one necessary to do. And then they want somebody else to pay for all of it. Are they saying they don't want a pump station that they have to pay for, they don't want a pump station, period?
They don't want to take it over at any future point. So they'll be willing to have it be part of their system, but they will not be the entity that's maintaining it. So they'll allow it to exist.
So we take the chance of becoming into the sewer business?
No. The developers put money aside. I insure some of these pumps in the ground.
Okay.
And the developers insure them, and they put money from their department into
that fund, okay.
And the people pay into that to maintain
Okay.
pump station.
So that's part of the
Use a
assessment?
property, yeah.
Okay.
That's how it's done in some other areas.
It just feels like every time we turn around, we're dealing with the same thing in this area. And I'm seeing stuff going on in a whole lot of other places that aren't in the northern part of the county. I mean, you go, 4 miles down the road and they're building a whole other city. So.
And funding.
I think we wait till 2019, and I think between now, this is my take, between now and then, I want to sit down with the sanitary engineer, and I'd like to sit down with at least one of the commissioners and find out, okay, what's the hurdle here? Because, okay, we've got money in the bank, they've got a whole lot more money than we do, and they don't seem to want to participate in anything we've got going on up here, so. I'm not trying to pick a fight, I just think this is done, we're dealing with FEMA studies, we're dealing with all different lines of business, and we keep getting the bill shoved down our throat.
Well, until you hold the feet to the fire, that's what they're gonna do, and they may continue to do that, but then they may not.
I'd just like to hear, I mean, we talked a little bit about it when they came here to do or two of them came here to do the meeting, but it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating for you, Jeffrey, I mean, that's.
Trying to figure out how to push the rock up.
Well, and we talked about our red line plan, and on paper, when you open that thing up, it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do it? You know, I mean, I can show you what they wanted Disney World to look like, and then I can show you what Disney World ended up looking like. It's a profit center, so.
Yeah.
It'll be a dilemma. We don't have one company that's coming in there that has deep pockets and come in and fund the whole thing.
Well, I hate that the residents in that area have and will continue to have an impression of what they think is going to happen, and I don't see it anywhere in the cards that it's gonna be anywhere near what they're looking at, so.
Oh, there's definitely some people out there that have a few acres that think that they're gonna get sewer and that's gonna be, they're gonna make a bunch of money on their few acres and they don't have to pay for that.
I literally was told by a resident in that area that her biggest concern is she didn't want another Austin Landing at Red Line.
Really?
And that's when I walked right over to Jeff, I said, I have to go. That's what anybody got the remote impression of, like these meetings.
Yeah,
This is scary, I mean, so.
Okay.
All right,
So
so,
let's move it to next, I agree with Jason, let's move it to next year. Try to line up, an engineer, sanitary engineer, talk to them and see which one of the three plans you guys can work on, or maybe we should, I don't know, that we need to be involved in. Pick one of the three plans, and, that, you believe would be the best for that area.
mhm.
And propose that and see if they think it's an acceptable thing and how much it will really cost us to do it.
Okay. We'll do some research and have it at the ready.
How long you do it?
Thank you, Governor.
Cool, all right.
Thank you very
Good
much.
enough. Thank you, guys.
Road Department, we have Resolution 5093, a resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to execute a contract with the Warren County Engineer's Office for resurfacing.
Yeah, this is Dale's requirement, file the legislation with him, indicating our desire to participate in their annual repaving program.
Okay, is there a motion to approve 5093?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Readerspawn.
Yay.
Mr. Cameron.
Yay.
Mr. Wade.
Yay. And fire, anything else from the road department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fire district, we have a request to purchase a 2019 ambulance at the cost not to exceed $250,000.
Yeah, as a replacement of one of our medics. Time to put away 120,000 miles. We had to tow it a few times last year. We were, by the replacement plan, we should have replaced it last year, but we were able to get an extra year out of it, so. We're gonna
Not good when you have.
tow it in. Yeah. Fortunately, it was from the hospital back to the station, so we left out.
Glad to hear that.
But we put a committee together to look at our ambulance and see what we wanted to do. We're actually switching chassis. We're going to go to a Ford F550 versus the medium duty. A lot of benefits with that. It's four-wheel drive. Currently, they're not use chains, which is kind of a pain. And we won't have to use our heavy mechanic that comes in. We can take it to a dealership, so that should help us significantly with maintenance costs and things like that. So the committee did a really good job. Worked really hard. We took some of their days off to go up to a plant outside of Columbus and look at the medics. So very pleased and impressed with the job they did.
And other than we're picking the chassis, it'll pretty much be what comes off the shelf, body and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, the box will be the
box.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the back, we went with a newer design. The side door is actually going to be moved up a little bit instead of in the middle, it'll be towards the front of the way. So it's a safer design where the paramedic will actually be able to be in a harness to be restrained, and he'll be able to access all of the gear from the seat. And Horton makes a really good ambulance. And the Lebanon medic that crashed on 122 a couple weeks ago, that was a Horton medic, and besides the fire hydrant going through the side of the medic unit, the box held up extremely well. Fortunately, everyone survived that crash. So with the paramedic that was not restrained in the back suffered significant injury to his head, split up, got quite a few stitches, broke his neck. So we're looking at safer ways for our paramedics to operate in the back. We kind of went with a newer style device that they could do.
That's great. My purpose for the question was that years ago, we used to do custom-made boxes, and that was the biggest nightmare in the world.
Yeah, these are state bid, and you can select where things go, but they're kind of a cookie cutter. Yeah, you can just, instead of putting this here, you're going to put it here, and vice versa. But yeah, it's not a la carte.
No, I know we haven't done that for a while. I just wanted to make sure we don't want to go back to that.
Absolutely.
not a good thing and terribly expensive. Okay. Any questions for Steve about the request to purchase and start the process? I guess you just need an okay from us to purchase it, and you'll start working on contracts and all that kind of stuff.
You know, it's state bid, so unfortunately we don't have to do any kind of bid. $245,936 is the price. We don't expect that to change, but we did budget $250 in case we would have to do a change or anything. If we would money up to, yeah, that would be okay. I don't expect it to change, but you know, I hate to bring it back to the board for a couple $1,000.
Any questions for Steve before we move on to motion?
The old one's going to gov deal.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the 2019 Ford not to exceed $250,000?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Witt?
And then we have a request to replace the concrete at Station 21, not to
Yeah.
exceed $15,000.
Yeah, the front and rear aprons of the station is the primary expenditure here. We're gonna do, there's some other concrete work that needs to be done, miscellaneous spots, we're gonna take care of it while they're there. And this has actually been a budgeted item the last 3 years. We've tried to find cheaper ways to kind of fix it, but it's time to replace it, yeah. And the city's gonna be doing some curb and gutter work going through there, but it's not gonna be until 2020, and we just can't do that long. We're gonna try to jump on their price, but it won't happen. But we did get 3 bids, and Red's Excavating came in at $14,820, so I was pretty surprised at that price for as much work.
They're very good at what they do.
Yeah, they come highly recommended.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Steve about the replacement of the concrete at Garage Station 21? So motion to approve the replacement not to exceed $15,000.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Witt?
Yeah. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Police Department, we have a request to renew the leads program at the cost of $2,128.
Yeah, this is our leads online software. It's an annual renewal. It's where we put stolen items. We can research stolen items. A couple of years ago, we had a piece of property ended up in Las Vegas, stolen from one of the residents. We were able to track out there. So it's something we use to be able to put anything on there that we have missing that somebody else might help us locate and vice versa. So it does some other things, but it's a program we use pretty frequently. So I asked the board to authorize us to renew that contract with them.
Okay, there's a motion to renew the leads program.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Witt?
Yeah. And we have a request to pay for service for Ohio Polygraph not to exceed $2,650.
Yeah, this is part of our, to locate 2 more part-timers. We've got 5 that we sent off, which exceeded our limit once we times that out per unit. We're getting close to resolving that. We've got 1 girl that's pretty close to it, and they actually come into the next meeting for approval by the board. 1 we're waiting in the wings on a test, but this is the polygraph that it took to get us past the first 5 candidates to single those 2 out. $2,650 to Ohio Polygraph, and I asked the board if they wanted me to pay that.
So motion to pay this bill.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Witt?
Yay. And we also have a request to repair the transmission.
We got a couple of Dodge Chargers having some transmission issues, some slippage, and we've been getting away with transmission in a bottle for a little while. We finally lost one of the transmissions. The other one's doing okay right now, so knock on wood. But the one that we have, the recommendation is to do a rebuild on that. We got 2 bids. BJ's Garage is where we used to do a lot of our oil changes and smaller items. He would have to farm that out to a third party that we don't know anything about. And I'm not sure, I'm sure it's a reputable company, but just not know if they're going to be in business tomorrow for a warranty. Lebanon Dodge was $24 more, $36.24. So I'd ask that we go with Lebanon Dodge, even though it's $24 more. A new transmission's about $6,000, or just a tad bit on above that. So we'd rather just do. This is probably slated for maybe next year's replacement. It's a 14 model. I think we're pushing close to 80,000 miles or so on it. So if we can get it to that point, and the rebuild would probably be the best.
Question, so we have 2 of them that have some issues. They both around that 80,000?
I don't know about the other one mileage-wise.
Have we had transmission issues with these Dodges before?
No, we had some cam issues early on, the 08, 09 models, I think, and we went through some strut issues, a little bit of brake issues when they first came out. They oversized the brakes and compensated some of that. I don't recall the last transmission we ever did, or if we've had one that we've had. But for some reason, we've got a couple that's doing some slipping.
I just, Dodge pickup trucks have, and even brand new ones are having terrible time with transmissions.
I just bought one.
You did?
Yeah, but
You
don't
never drive it, so
it.
you're not gonna have any
Well, that's
problem
true, if
with
I
it.
don't run it, transmission can't go.
One of the people that have animals at my farm, he has had 2 new Dodges in the last 6 months, and never got more than 5,000 miles on either one.
Oh, that's where I'm at right now.
And he had to turn both back. Now he's driving the GMC.
I was gonna say, do you need directions to the Ford dealer?
But anyway, okay. Anybody have any questions for the chief about this? I certainly, putting a rebuild on in it, 80,000 miles is much better equipment than that.
Tell them to baby those cars.
Yeah, treat them sweet.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the repair and through Lebanon Dodge for this transmission?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. Anything else? No, sir. Okay. Staff updates, I have anything? We do have an executive session scheduled. I'd like to entertain a motion to move to executive session and recess this meeting.
So moved. Second?
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Mr. Wade?
Yay. I don't see any reason for